right, welcome back to Define Roots. My name is Tian, and today I'd like to share something. And that something is it's kind of funny how the growth process works. And I kind of thought about this on the way here because as I'm doing this these podcasts or podcast. When I look back into my history or my kind of track record of what I've done, it kind of started off like really shitty. Like it's almost to the point where I'm kind of embarrassed. And I feel like that is where the key is at. Like, or when people say, oh, don't be afraid to fail, and things like that. Like, failing is such a weird word and how it's implied because it kind of saying that you are, or for me at least, when they say when you fail, it kind of means that you are like done, like power off, like you cut the wires, right? But the way that I see failure is kind of like you just fall down and you get back up and then you move on. And it's not even like getting like falling down. One second. Just brewed this coffee, so it's pretty good. Anyhow, it's not like you are falling down. It's just that do something and then see how that is and then pivot and kind of adjust from there. So it's like as long as I do something and I keep moving, that is the most important part and not the fact that like if I don't do anything at all, I won't move anywhere. That is just how it is. So let's use the example of climbing a mountain, for instance. If I don't climb up the mountain, just make a first step, I won't get any closer to that. And this is me saying this coming from a place of being a perfectionist. And I'll tell you a funny story because the type of perfectionist that I was is like this. Like I wouldn't do anything until like I got it all figured out. Like it's kind of like down to that point, and it's almost like I got paralyzed. I needed it to be so perfect and so like I had to have everything figured out before I even started anything. And the crazy part about that kind of feels like this. Imagine if I would to find like tune a guitar. Before I even tune the knob, I'll sit there and think, okay, if I tune this knob 5 degrees, how would it sound like? No, hang on. If I do it 5 degrees, it's going to sound like this. What if I did it like 10 degrees? Oh, no, that's going to be too much. If I tune it, let's say like 20 degrees, nah, that's way too much. 40, nah, that's going to break the string. Let's maybe do like 4 degree. Oh, that's not going to be enough. This is what it's like to not do anything. Like this is what it was like. Like I needed to have it the perfect plan to tune the knob like once. And when I think back to myself when I used to do this, is like I would slap myself in the face, like from today and then that person back then. But the thing is, that is growth. Like growth happens through time and it's through like the ups and the downs and it's through the vulnerabilities and it's through weakness where strengthness can arise and not the other way around. When you have strength, the possibility of weakness is just around the corner. Like no king can rule forever. If you are the top dog, the chances of you being the bottom dog is just as close as the bottom dog being the top dog. So what I'm saying here is like, I used to be a perfectionist, and I was so scared of even making a move because I wanted it to be, have it all figured out. But now when I think back and then I see myself in that light, like the way that I approach things now, it's like, just do it and you figure it out from there. Like, if I didn't make my first video, I would have never figured out to the point where I am right now. Like, I had some inspiration, I had some ideas, I tried them out, and it wasn't like it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to be, but at least I did it. And when I do it, I can see it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't like that. So let's pivot. Let's adjust. Let's fine tune the guitar, right? So at least like instead of thinking about when to move and where to tune the knob, now I have the guitar. I just tune it once. I was like, oh shit, that's way too much. And I tune it back. I was like, oh, okay, that's not exactly where I want it to be, but tune it back up again, tune it back down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And essentially, I get to the point where it sounds so beautiful and so perfect that it becomes like perfectly tuned because I keep adjusting the knob back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it kind of like, it goes like this. You fine tune it, fine tune it, fine tune it, fine it, and then eventually at one point, it becomes so perfectly tuned that it's like, that's where it's at. And over time, you will get out of tune, and then we just tune it back again. And that's growth. You know, a tree will sway back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's how it grows. It wiggles. It wiggles its way up from the ground. It doesn't grow like straight up, just penetrate it like just. It's not a rocket. It has to move in order to grow. And this is exactly how sea moss actually grows. Like, sea moss doesn't grow like vertically. It actually grows according to the waves of the ocean. Like, it pull it to one side, and it pull it to the other side, and then the other, and then the other, and eventually it becomes like this big, 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 big sea moss that it is. So, just to give you guys more example of what type of perfectionist I used to be, I will stand in a fucking aisle of chips and decide for 20 minutes to just pick a bag of chips. You know, if I saw myself like right now and I saw my old self back then, I would like just run up and just fucking shoulder charge myself and then just knock myself into the ground because that's crazy. Like, imagine if I took 20 minutes to pick one bag of chips, right? And then I do that, let's say every time I go to a grocery store, it takes me 20 minutes, like 20 minutes to do this. And this is why my wife is the greatest, right? She never rushes me. She'll let me stand there and choose a bag of chips while she does different things. And the thing is, 20 minutes times 10, you go figure the time, right? But then every time I go grocery store, now let's drag it over to a year. So I would just do this every time I go to a grocery store. I will stand there and make a fucking decision over 20 minutes just for chips. But now if I went back and then I'm thinking about it from a different perspective, it's like, you know what? Just pick one. If I don't like it, I buy the other one next time. And instead of me standing there for 20 minutes, the chance of me hitting or missing it is equally the same. Because the only way I know if I like it or not is if I try it. So the quicker I try it, the more I can grow from that, or more I can learn from that. But taking 20 minutes to make a decision, that's way too much, you know? So now I can pick something, do it, grow from it. Simple as that. And I've applied this to almost like everything that I do. I used to take so much time just to decide what drinks to get, and just the small things that doesn't even matter. And like even these videos, like they ain't shit, like in the long run. But right now, it's some shit. But you gotta do enough shit for it to become the shit. You know what I'm saying? So like right now, this is like the each video I make, it's kind of like the one, like there's something to improve on. And just like the guitar example earlier, I have to fine tune it to become tuned, right? I cannot sit and do nothing and think about like, okay, I need this lighting, I need this microphone, I need this bullshit, I need this chair, there's so many things you need, but what you need is just to do it. And that's like my biggest improvement, I feel like, that I've managed to overcome. And it's weird because it happens so in such a subtle way that I can't even pinpoint it. Like it's not like I woke up one day and decided to do this. It's just like that growth of realization just slowly came to surface in a way. So like, yeah, I don't know. You know, like any growth, it just takes time. And it just sucks that I know that I've gone through this and I've seen people go through this, and it just sucks that it can be such a paralyzing thing to think about sometimes, that so paralyzed to the point where we don't even do it. And this goes into like doing the things that we love, doing the things that we care about, or just starting something new, or just exploring things. Because it's like, oh, if I want to play tennis, I need like these shoes, I need like a racket, I need all this bullshit, but it's like, you can just buy like a $10 racket and just start hitting a ball, see if you'll like it or not. If you do, upgrade it. If you don't, now you know. Say like anything, just the cheapest form available. Like let's say like, okay, before I even did podcasting, all of my recordings were on the phone. Like, and it wasn't even good. It was just me like formulating my ideas, and I had certain things I wanted to express. I just didn't know that I expressed it that way. But podcasting was like the perfect medium and platform for me to do that. And listening back to those recordings, it's like, what the fuck was I, but it's like, I need to be shitty. I need to be garbage before it can become like something. It needs to be there. Like a mountain, right? It needs to have the bottom for the top. And the top needs the bottom for the top to exist. So in order to rise, we need each step. Like this reminds me of like that quote, the French quote, petit à petit, l'oiseau se fournit. Little by little, the bird makes his nest. So it doesn't matter that it picks the perfect branch or twig. It doesn't need to pick like, today I'm gonna pick a white oak branch. Tomorrow I'm gonna take a brown twig from the east coast facing west-south when the sun is rising, and then the weather is perfect and the wind is a slight breeze over the branch, and then there's other birds that wants it too, and it's going to be like this golden perfect branch. Like, no, it just goes down, find a branch, picks it up, bring it to its nest, puts it down. Over time it becomes a nest. Now if it wants to make it like cozy and nice, now you can put like grass on it, right? Fine tune it. And if you wanted to make it nicer. Now it can pick up like other branches and start making like a like a 2-layer house, for instance, 2-layer nest, and then start fine tuning it more and more and more, and it becomes like a tiny house. Metaphorically speaking, of course, birds don't live in tiny houses, but so in that sense, like the most important thing is just to do something, to do it, and then pivot. Do it, pivot, do it, fine tune, do it, fine tune. And yeah, this is a lesson that I look back on, and then I kind of feel, God damn, that's where I came from. So if you're watching this and you do the same, just know that I was that guy. I was that guy. Like, I would take forever just to make one perfect decision, which never existed. Because perfection is crafted over time. You don't... Okay, one more metaphor and we're done. Let's take a block of rock, just a big giant boulder, right? And I want to now sculpture a whatever I want to sculpture. I want to sculpture this man standing with his fist up into the air holding a globe, for instance. So I can't just make one, like, okay, check this out. If I stand there and make calculations of where I'm gonna make my first hit, like the first chisel, right? And then I've spent like 10 days. Okay, I know where to put this chisel. I know exactly where to make this chisel. I'm gonna do it right here with so much strength, which only 10%, because if I do more than that, the whole thing's gonna crack. No. I'm gonna do like 20%. So I'm gonna do 20% strength right at this spot. It's gonna be at 10° north, a little bit of south, and then 15 angle to the west and east. When the sun shines right onto this spot, it's gonna be a little bit hot, and I'm gonna strike it when the moon hits the eclipse of the sun's horizon, you know? And boom, I hit it. And that took me 10 days. Now, versus if I was just like, just hit it randomly somewhere, just fucking chip it, just throw the chisel into the piece of rock, just throw it, and then it makes a little dent. I was like, huh, okay, that doesn't look like a man with his fist up in the air with a globe in his hand. You know what? I need to make another dent over here to make it look like that. So I'm gonna throw the chisel again, just throw it into the rock. It's like, okay, it kind of like, it's getting so, I feel like I need to chip more down this way, right? So I take the chisel, I just keep tossing it onto the rock. I just tossing onto it, and then it slowly, the rock becomes more like, it starts to chip away. And over time, like, that's like, in total, let's say 100 chisel has been made, or the chips have been made within like a time frame of 1 hour. Versus the other person, he only made one decision in 10 days. So you see where this is going, right? Just keep chipping away, chipping. But I used to be the other guy. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I was that guy. I had to like calculate the Earth's rotation and the sun's glare and the solar flare on which day and what date and what second, and the moon and when it shines. You know, I used to be that guy. I used to be the person that needed to have everything down to the T before I made one decision. But my point is that even if you throw the chisel into the rock, it's gonna make a dent. And then when you throw it enough, you realize, hey, you know what? I can't throw it no more. It's getting a little bit close to like chipping away too much, so I need to fine tune it a little bit. So you grab the chisel, and then you start to chip away like more gentle, not too hard, you know, just a little bit, just angle it. And then do that enough, you'll be like, okay, you know what? You're starting to kind of look like the guy now, but his hand, it has creases, so I need something more sharp, and then chisel it down there. You do that, and essentially, over a period of time, a masterpiece is just a matter of the time, right? You do it enough, you get a fine-tuned chisel, and then you get it so fine-tuned, and then you tune every angle of the sculpture, and then it gets down to the T now, right? You start from the top, and then you move down, 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 down until you get it right, until it becomes the masterpiece that you envision. Versus the other guy is still calculating about his like second chip. So that will wrap it up for today's episode. Um, so let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Quick summary. Growth takes time. And when people say time is money, I understand it because time is very valuable. So if I stand there and it takes me 20 minutes to just make one decision versus like if I can just make a decision just in 1 second. And just going back to the guitar, for example, if I took 20 minutes to just decide to twist a knob versus another guy who would just keep turning the knob like crazy until like, whoa, this is too much. Okay, whoa, this is way too little. Okay, this is okay. Okay, 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 okay. Fine tune. Versus the other guy's like, when should I tune this? Tomorrow? Today? No, tomorrow. Not today. No, wait. Next week. Ooh, wait. The string is gonna be too soft today. So let's do it when the sun is up. Next month. You know, so it's like it takes way too long to even progress. So growth, keep jamming at it. Like be the shit. Be shit enough times and then it'll become the shit. And yeah, let's just wrap it up there. I feel like that will sum it up. Growth takes time. Just keep doing it and then you pivot. And yeah, I think that that should be it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheerios.